Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Kingdoms of the Deep.
This is designed by Ian Zhang, and it is published by Galactic, Raptor, and Weird Giraffe. But before we talk about Kingdoms of the Deep, you know what else has a kingdom? It doesn't make any sense. Just subscribe. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see all our videos as they come out. We are so close to hitting our goal to doing our top 100 games of all time. Ooh. So make sure to subscribe so you can see that when they come out.
If we are Kingdom, I am the Joker. All right, so in Kingdoms of the Deep, it's essentially a tile game. The tile is not, we're not playing the tiles. The tiles are laid out on the board, and we're using those tiles in order to gain control of the oceans. There's this fantastic ability to upgrade your actions as the game goes on, make certain actions stronger and stronger. You have to refresh your hand. You can only use each card once before you refresh. But let me give a quick overview of how to play. All right, here is the starting board setup for Kingdoms of the Deep. Basically, in the middle here, we have our Atlantis tile, kind of a three-dimensional tile that has a hole in the middle. Every time we get one of our pieces, or even our opponent's pieces, into the middle of that, we're going to score a point, which is fantastic. Also, we have our little shark meeple. We're going to be able to use some actions to move the shark around the board, eating people up. You get points for that as well. All right, so we have all different kind of terrains. We have our little meeples on the board. There's ones of these golden borders around them. Those are called capital tiles. Those capital tiles are going to give you extra points during scoring rounds, and even a separate win condition. If you control all of the capital tiles at the end of a scoring round, you're going to win the game automatically. But really what you're trying to do is you're trying to get as many of your meeples on the board, move them around in order to get them in the middle of Atlantis, or get them eaten by a shark in order to gain points. Also, there's going to be various scoring parameters, which I'll show you now. This is kind of our scoreboard. The top here, this is going to be where we score all of our points, but it's also our round tracker. Every time someone uses a reset card at the end of the round, this is going to move up. At some points, you're going to get some bonus stuff, like, for instance, here, you get an upgrade. An upgrade is a chance to move up some abilities on your own personal player board, which I'll show you in just a moment. Based on the player count, you're going to have an end game scoring card over here that you can reference. That way you can kind of know what points you might be getting towards the end of the game. Also, there are 3 separate scoring cards here based off the first, second, and third scoring rounds. Now, the top ability there, it's kind of in the yellow, that is a lightning ability. Basically, any time during that round that you achieve that goal, you're going to get those points. This particular one says, during a move action, move any 3 units into Atlantis. If you're able to do that, you're going to get 3 points, which is fantastic. The middle scoring ability is always going to be something that just applies to you, and it's going to happen during the scoring round. This particular one says 1 point per unique terrain tile where you have a unit. So if you can kind of diversify your board in this particular scoring card, you can get a lot of points, which is great. Now, the bottom scoring parameter is always going to be something where you compare yourself to other players. This particular one says during that scoring round, the least units in your supply, meaning you put the most amount of things out on the board or into Atlantis. You're going to get 6 points if you have the least. If you're going to get 3 points if you have the second least, 1 point if you're the third least. So the bottom 2 are going to happen during the scoring round. The top one's just going to happen whenever you achieved it. When that slides over there, that's when that card activates. And then we're going to reveal a new one that's going to happen during the second phase. Also, there's a little shark symbol, meaning a new shark is going to be added to the board. Now there's going to be 2 sharks around the board eating people up. And similarly, once you get to that third scoring age, or that second scoring age, a third one's revealed, and another shark's going to come out again. There's also a little reminder here that during the scoring, you're going to get points based off of having majorities in the capital tiles, and also a reminder that if you control all the capital tiles, you win the game automatically. All right, and here's a player board. This is kind of where all the actions take place. All right, so you have your deck of cards here. You're going to be able to kind of look through it and choose which action you want to take. So let's say we take a bolster action. A bolster action is where you're able to put some more people out on the board. And basically every round, you're going to choose a terrain focus. A terrain focus is basically what kind of area in the ocean you're going to be focusing on. So maybe right now we have it focused on this one right here, which is kind of like the deep sea, like the glaciers, things like that. So when you play a bolster card, you're going to go over to your bolster action and see what number you're currently at. This particular one says you're currently at 3, meaning you can put out 3 of your meeples out onto this chosen terrain focus area. As you upgrade, you're going to be able to do 4, 5, and even 6 of those out there at a time. And eventually, at some point, you're also going to get a second focus that you can put out there. So that way, there's going to be 2 different areas that you can put out there when you're doing your bolster action. Furthermore, the solo ability is you can put 1 more person out there while you're bolstering. Deploy works kind of similarly. Deploy is where you could actually put out people either where other people are of yours or adjacent to them. Again, you start at 2, but then you can go 3, 4, and 5. And this is going to be something you can upgrade. You're able to put more people out on the board, but you're not as constrained as far as where you can put them. And of course, the solo ability, meaning if you're the only person who chose that card this particular round, you're going to be able to put out 1 more during deploy. All right, so now we have our move card. Obviously, move is kind of basically giving you the ability to move around the board. You can either move 1, 2, or 3 spots around the board. And it's also going to give you the chance to move into Atlantis when you do that. Also, this whole ability, of course, is giving you one more additional piece of movement. All right, this shark action. The shark allows you to take an action with a shark. The actions are you can either A, move the shark around, or B, you can eat someone on a tile where the shark is. So at the beginning, you're only going to get 2 shark actions, but you're going to get more and more as you upgrade. All right, I've been talking about upgrade for a while now. Let's actually look at the upgrade action. The upgrade action is when you get to make one of your pawns here and move it up to the next spot. So now, next time you do a bolster action, it'll give you 4 actions instead of just 3. Or maybe you move with the shark. Now you can do 3 actions with the shark instead of just 2. And again, as always, that solo ability, this particular one is performing an additional upgrade action. So you can possibly do 2 upgrades at a time, which is really, really strong. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is the reset card. So once you've played those cards, they're kind of down in your discard pile until you play a reset card. So you're just going to kind of waiting until you get to play the reset card to be able to do some of those actions again. And someone playing a reset card is also what allows the round tracker to move forward as well. But during the upgrade action, another thing you can do is you can even upgrade the reset itself. You start with one thing that you choose out there that you want to activate when you play a reset card, but you might be able to activate more and more things. So that way, when you do take a reset action, whatever you have covered up, you either take all those kind of little mini actions. This particular solo ability is you get 1 point, 1 bonus point, or you get 2 points if you're playing in a 5 or 6 player game, but then you get your hand back. Now all the cards are available for you to use. One thing I forgot to mention is during the shark phase, if you're doing a shark action, every time you eat someone, you get to move up on this bait pile. This little cube here tracks where you are in the bait pile, and every time you go up a certain amount, you're going to be able to unlock new actions. So if you go over here, you might get a deploy action, or if you get over here, you might get a move action, whatever the case is. So the more you eat, the more special abilities you're going to gain. So the game is going to go until we play 9 rounds. At the end of the 3rd, 6th, and 9th round, you're going to have those scoring rounds where you're going to go through those cards and award some points. But you've also been accumulating points throughout the game as well through your various actions on the board. And then also there's the end game scoring card based off the player count. Looking at the 2-player card, it says whoever has the most amount of meeples in Atlantis, they're going to get 7 points. And whoever has the second most amount there is going to get 1 point per unit they have in there. Also, in addition to that, all the bait pile, you're going to get 1 point per notch you are up on the bait pile. So that could be very lucrative if you use your shark correctly. But don't forget, there's also the extra rule, whereas at the end of any scoring round, if you're in control of all of the capital tiles, all 6 of them, or even tied for control, you win the game automatically.
The game has these really nice recessed boards that all the players have, and you really need that. Sometimes I wish more games would do this when you have to keep track of things on your board, because one push, a kid coming up to the table, anything totally messes that up. So I really liked that it had that recessed board, and it had all the references of what the actions were right there. So you have the card. The card doesn't tell you like anything. It only tells you that extra action, but it doesn't actually tell you anything. But on the board, it's all reference there, so it's nice and recessed, and it also has a reference to what the actions are.
There's also, on all the actions, there's an extra bonus action if you are the only player that selected that card. It basically gives you more of whatever that one action was. So if you're using the move action, you get whatever your strength of your move is, plus if you're the one who played that card, you get 1 extra movement, or whatever the case is. We found that to be, in a 2-player game, which we played this at 2 players, obviously, it happened quite a bit as compared to like the 3 and 4-player game. So we had to make some changes.
Yeah, we made a house rule for it. We got another deck, and we just took out the reset card. So we'd shuffle it, and we'd flip it over. So there was another player, basically, making these things to potentially eliminate that double action from happening. And you can still plan, if you see 2 things out and something not out, you can still have that. But there's always that opportunity that there's another player that you're competing with to take that special action. I felt like there was multiple paths to victory. There's a few different things you could do on the board. You could try to get a bunch of your pieces in the middle. You could try to go for those gold cards. You could try to like rush the game and just play the reset all the time. You could try to go for those middle like special, I can't remember.
Capital tiles.
The capital tiles. So I felt like there was a lot of different avenues that you could take.
I got one of those capital win tiles once. It was awesome.
Yes. I was like triple him in scores, and he was like, just so you know, I need you to read this in the rule book. He didn't say it like that. That sounded really mean. But he was actually like,
I told you the rule before.
You did.
It's like I just like
he didn't like
did
jump,
one
like
of those
spring it
rules
on me.
lawyering
Yeah,
thing,
no.
like Oh, I just won. How? Oh, I forgot to tell you.
No, it wasn't like that. I promise it wasn't like that. Ryan wouldn't like to play like that because then it's not competitive and then he doesn't feel good about the win. That's not how he plays. But I just felt like there's a lot of different ways that you could win this game, a lot of different ways that you could go about with strategy, and there's also plenty of opportunity to pivot.
I think this game has a great table presence. The tiles themselves are big, have great art. In the middle, you have that big Atlantis kind of tower, kind of 3D thing that you put all your pieces in. I'm not sure if this is like a deluxe component issue or not, because we had both cubes in our box as well as like wooden meeples for all the different animals.
Yeah.
But the meeples were fantastic. I love having those all out on the board. The recessed boards for each individual player, like Bethany mentioned, it just looks great. Kind of gave you that ocean kingdom thing going on. I really enjoyed that.
Was there anything you maybe didn't enjoy?
Let's talk about the rule book, everybody. Man, what a really fun experience. What a great game that we had a really hard time getting into because the rule book left a lot to be desired. I was trying to read a little bit online about that, and it sounded like there might have been some like publisher stuff going on between different publishers or whatever the case was. So I don't want to give you details because I don't know the full facts. But it sounds like there's going to be a better version of the rulebook later that maybe we can download or something.
Yeah.
But there was definitely some major errors and some convolutedness that did not need to be there. For a very simple game, the rulebook was kind of a hot mess.
Yeah, just a little bit. But even with that, I really liked this game. I really, really enjoyed it. I understood the game as soon as we were playing it. I knew it was happening and getting the cards out and trying to plan against our fake players when we had that and each other to try to get something to happen, to try to get those like bonus actions and to try to pivot when Ryan was doing certain things. I just really enjoyed it. I had a great time with this game.
Yeah, this game surprised me, and I don't know why it surprised me, but I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. We were playing, and I was just like, I just saw like all the different options, and I was like, this is a good time. Like early on, I was like, this is really fun. I enjoyed messing with your cards. When should you reset? Should you kind of play all your cards and then reset, or should you just reset more often? What should you upgrade? I love the games that have that kind of upgrade thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that kind of the engine building without having to like overly complicate the engine building. It's just, now you have extra movement, or now you have extra ability to put guys on the board. It was delightful. It was a really, really fun family weight game. Not overly complicated, besides the rule book. And I enjoyed it very much.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye. You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.